This is episode 4. Episode 4 of my dog's going because even though I put episode 3 in the description of our recording studio, episode 4 of Filmaholics Entertainment Podcast. Fap. Exactly. The lights are shining bright tonight, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching the main podcast of choice for casual moviegoers. Number 1 in the podcast sphere. Number 1 in the YouTube verse when it comes to. I think we're number 1 in Bangladesh right now. So just want to
call me crazy, but movies
we're on the
are fun.
rise. And Spotify. I think by the end of this video, we're gonna be uploaded on Spotify, baby. We're a Spotify darling.
We're official.
I think we're on. So I downloaded.
Better watch out.
Yeah. I downloaded to like 10 different of the things. There's like a bunch of besides Spotify. I guess there's other sites that people go to, but we're officially on the podcasting index. That was the first one that I saw, which means essentially that there's proof of us being a podcast. Essentially.
Let's go.
Like if we, at the end of the day, you need to besides going on YouTube, when it comes to podcasting, like just hearing our voices, there is proof. But it's uploading. I think by the end of this episode, hopefully by the end of the night, we're on Spotify. We're number 1 up there. John, John can't be a Sia. I'm trying to think who else. Joe Rogan, Sia.
See ya.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks for playing. Yeah, Filmaholics. Step has entered the room. Yeah, I want people chanting it like movie theaters before theaters start.
Tag us on Twitter and Instagram.
We're about to be an AMC.
Yep, exactly. Well, hey, let's do quick intros before I know we just had a fun little start to the show, but I mean, I'm here with the 2 and only, the 1 and only, 2 1 and onlys. We got Vu. And we got Boo Radley. Boys, introduce yourselves again. Say hi to the crowd. Say hi to everybody watching all around the world.
How's it going, guys? Glad to hang out with you on a Wednesday night.
Shout out to the entourage.
Yeah.
Yep.
Shout out to the entourage. And hey, shout out to Vu's shirt. Nathan, for you. Nathan Fielder.
Thank you. Yep.
That's an elite shirt. Elite shirt.
Thank you.
Gosh, we got to do a show. I think if you do a top 10 or top 5 comedy shows, one of his TV shows has to be on there. I don't know about you guys, but that's how I feel with me.
The rehearsal was just
unbelievable. A classic.
Unbelievable.
Oh,
Nobody talks about how good it was. How it was a show that essentially was Nathan Fielder press upgrade. It became him essentially partially raising a kid.
It got deep, surprisingly.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh man.
That last episode was so sad. Just a great show. But yeah, I mean, we got a lot on the agenda, guys, here today. So we got a couple things. Yeah, one, we got Instagram, we got Twitter. That's it. We're on that social medias. We're gonna start doing. I even thought last night we should do a quick like TikTok or YouTube short. Now with our StreamYard, it is connected to YouTube, and we have 20 hours. So like. We can, if we're like doing live streams on YouTube, we can do up to 20 hours a month live streaming, considering just how we're recording it right now. And then we post it on YouTube. Fun inside, behind the scenes for those who aren't watching or with us right now. But honestly, it's more advantageous for us to be streaming on YouTube live. So I think we should start doing that just for fun, see what happens, see if we can pick up a couple people. But I think that's really going to help with, Every week, man, I live on the idea of 1% better. 1% better.
Every time we go see a movie, we should do a YouTube short review. Super quick, super good.
60 seconds, I think that's the max. I don't really know. I don't really follow that kind of stuff, but just a 60-second review. Vu, I feel like, Vu, you would be like prime for that. I think that could be something you'd be really good at. I don't know, but don't want to put any work on you. I could definitely do it, but I just think you'd be very good at that.
I just got a TikTok, so I'm ready to let it fly.
He's ready.
Yeah. Nice.
Yep.
Well, guys, this is just going to be a good week. We've got some great entertaining topics. Not only do we have a lot of good entertaining topics, we're going to talk about movie news, which I was trying to think of, like, we should, instead of being like, we're going to talk about movie news, we should come up with another, just like Entourage, our fans. Movie news can be like, let me talk to you or something like that, which just us giving our thoughts. I think I was thinking about that, like as a name for it, like the let me talk to
I
you.
I like having segments.
Yeah. Weekly,
Nice.
let me talk to
like
you.
It, like the
Just
fireside
switches
chats.
things up, gives us more gimmicks, things like that to be talking about. So I like that one a lot. Then we got a couple movie reviews, TV show reviews, and then if we can, we are going to try to go over. We're going to try to go over what are we watching, and then what, we've got a secret surprise at the end. We tried doing that last week, didn't work. Maybe we'll get into this week. Just depends on timing, but I think we got a lot of fun topics here today. So. You know what? We're live. We're ready to rock. And hey, I'm excited. So, all right, let's start. Let me talk to you segment. And create music as well, too. But, gentlemen, we have our Lois laying in Superman. You know what? It's a Lois laying in Superman. We're very progressive. And especially, that's comic books in general. But, the Hollywood Reporter has reported, and this was reported yesterday, even though my sources are telling me this was essentially
Called it first.
In April. I confirmed this last week. Yeah, I confirmed this. Didn't want to be that guy, of course, but my sources, I can't tell you who they are, but they seem to know their shit. And essentially what this says is we know it's now going to be Corn Cob. Oh, wait. No, not Corn Cob. What's his damn name? Just had to get cheesy.
Corn Sweat.
Name it on the spot.
David Corn Sweat.
David Corn Sweat and Rachel Brosnahan of Marvelous Miss Maisel. Is that correct?
Funny thing is, I've never heard of any of these people.
I think it is.
I think that was the
Same.
point. Yeah. I think they wanted to make it to where, if I remember correctly, I didn't know who Henry Cavill was back in 2013, 2012 when it was announced.
That's also fair. I think I agree with you.
And I like that. I like that idea a lot. You don't always want, but at the same time with Batman, with Christian Bale, he was well known. But after a lengthy search, the article, the Hollywood Reporter goes in this like this. And then I'll give you guys. Oh, sorry, were you saying, Vu? A little delay on his end today.
Nothing.
How about this? I'm gonna go over this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go into this one first, Vu, just because we have a little delay with you. We're gonna give your thoughts first after I finish off reading this. That sound good? Okay.
Works for me.
All right. Good. Let's see how this goes. All right. After a lengthy search, David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan will star on Superman Legacy. The film will launch DC's new universe under the writer-director Gunn and his DC studio co-boss Peter Safran. They go on to say that apparently there were screen tests during the June 17th weekend. I don't really believe it. Whatever. My sources don't believe it either. But yeah, they're going to be, there was multiple people to play in contention for Superman and Clark Kent, but at the end of the day, these two, which I just think when you were looking into the news, these two are going to be the main ones for it. In this article goes, few roles are as coveted or come with as much pressure as Superman. And I completely think that's a great point. Vu, what are your thoughts on Superman? Before we dive into this, how important of a selection, and then Brad, I want you also to kind of follow this too, but how important of a selection is this for DC to start off with somebody like Superman? I feel like Superman has been kind of on the back burner when in reality, it really should be your tent pole. You know what I mean? It should be the Batman even before Batman, I would say, when it comes to the world of Superman. So, Vu, what are your thoughts on this? Just also what are your thoughts and what do you expect maybe with Superman in the future?
So, yeah, I totally agree. You think that Superman's kind of the alpha of the Justice League, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's the guy. He's the leader of the group. I know Batman's up there, too, but I think Superman kind of, as far as superpowers go even, sets the tone for the rest of the universe, I think he's definitely one of the more well-known superheroes in either Marvel or DC. So this is very important, and I think this is going to be the cornerstone of the future of the DC cinematic universe, or the Gunverse, I should say. So this is very important. So hopefully it all pans out.
Yeah, Brad, adding to that, man. He brings up a great point that he's probably the most important superhero in the DC universe. We've gone Batman, but I'd say
I think it's safe to say Superman's the most important superhero in the history of the world.
I love that take.
Like, he is the most well-known. He was on, what, Action 52 Comics or whatever, like the most valuable comic book. Like, the man has history.
Uh-oh. Vu's out.
Vu
We'll
has
be back in.
dropped.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
Vu's
keep at
dropped.
it.
But but I'm still going. I'm still going.
Yep. Don't stop. Just means more you time.
It's more me time. You're right. But no, he's got to be like the most important historically, which makes it the most pressured movie to succeed. Because this is, like you said, going to launch DC's new universe. And they're trying to compete against Marvel, which has changed the face of franchises and multiverses and, marketing and everything. So I'm sure the bosses behind DC and everyone that's put money into this is like, it's essentially a gun to James Gunn's heads. Like, this needs to succeed because we have put way too much in this.
Yeah, man. I mean, if you think about it, why maybe Marvel started off so easy or started off so well last time was they had Tony Stark, Iron Man. It was a very down to earth, kind of more of a boots on the ground movie. And the fact that it was realistic. So it was him, being, I think he was just like an arms dealer selling to like the Middle East, getting stuck in a cave there. And that's how he essentially became Iron Man. I think it started off, if you would have started off with somebody like Captain America, I don't know if it necessarily does that same thing because it's just a little too unrealistic in a way. And when you look at with DC, the problem is that their number one superhero is Superman. Now, am I going to be putting $250 million to get Superman from saving a cat out of a tree? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, it's difficult. It's like, what do you do? What do you do with something like? Because you can't make it too unrealistic in a way. Like I'd say even Man of Steel. One, I think it's super underrated. I loved it. It's one of my favorite DC movies out of the entire last 15, well, not 15 years. I mean, 10, 12. I still remember the trailer in the Dark Knight Rises movie theater for that. Funniest statement of all time. They were showing this trailer and it was very dramatic. And some guy yells, "I find this hard to masturbate to," just yells. And we all just start free. I just loved it. But it seemed like it was produced by Christopher Nolan. And you're like, oh my gosh, we're getting a Superman Dark Knight type of movie. And we didn't get that. And I think if they can do something very similar to how Christopher Nolan did it with, with the Dark Knight in a way with Superman, make it like that. But how do you do that? Do you guys have any ideas how you would do that as a Superman? I mean, you don't want it to be too unrealistic where they're destroying towns. It looks like a Dragon Ball Z anime. You know what I mean? You got to be.
You bring up a great point, and I think you also need to realize, like Iron Man, no expectations, no pressure. People didn't even know what it would turn into, that's kind of the issue with DC lagging behind. Is there's so much expectation and pressure that this is going to kick off a multi-movie, TV, merchandise, whole world, and so it's just such a different. It's just playing catch up, and that has to be difficult to do.
Yeah. And Vu, I don't know if
the expectations are a lot higher here.
Keep going, Vu. I love it.
Am I lagging still?
Yeah, you are a little bit. Maybe try turning the camera off. See if that does anything.
I'm gonna reset. Yeah. Here.
It's all the smoke in the Midwest.
What about now?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's see, Vu. All right. Hey, Vu, can you hear me?
Yeah. Is this better?
Well, let's try it out. But Vu, give me your thoughts on what Brad and I said, and if you need a little bit of a recollection, or if we need to go redo what we said, essentially, we can tell you. But what are your thoughts? I mean, we were talking about the pressure behind all of it. Brad made a great point.
Yeah, there's
pressure behind DC with the failed success, and just you're competing against Marvel, who's just had success after success. Just the pressure behind it. We were saying, and just like how you can learn from the mistakes, things like that. Keep going.
Yeah, there's huge pressure here, and I think that's what worked for Iron Man is that there was definitely less pressure. If you think about it, what was it, 20 years ago? When the original Iron Man came out?
Close to
Iron Man wasn't a big name in the superhero world. It's just what the Marvel had rights to at the time. Mm-hmm. So that's why, they kind of launched that after the Hulk. But here, Superman, guns blazing, this is a big name. This is what's going to reset the universe. The first movie to do so. So yeah, a lot of pressure here.
And it's coming out in
Alpha
2025.
in DC.
Yeah, and it's coming in 2025. The Marvel movies that are coming out in 2025, I think it's like the Kang Dynasty, or at least it was supposed to, or like Secret Wars. So it's releasing at a time when Marvel's definitely going to be putting out probably its best work. And it probably, if I had to assume just the way the track record's going, it's going to be its best work since Endgame, maybe, or, since Black Panther, whatever, consistent good work, I would say. I actually really liked Black Panther. I thought that seemed really good. And then, of course, Guardians of the Galaxy. We'll see what the future holds, but no, it's definitely something where it's just important. And I think at the same time, I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, who do we look at Superman's main villains? It's Lex Luthor and
Lex Luthor. You got Zod. You got Doomsday.
You got Brainiac. Is that correct? Brainiac. So we've already seen all four of them in the last few Snyder films. How do you change that up? Because I feel like even Doomsday was a very much a comic. It was comically a very good version of of his character. I feel like, well, except in the comics, I think he actually truly kills Superman. I'm sure they bring him back. I just know I saw the comic cover of the death of Superman. It's like the #1 comic of all time, I think. Correct?
You're right.
Yeah. So like Lex Luthor one, we know, you really can only go up from Lex Luthor, I would say, as a character. And they bring this up too, that there's now down to about 3 characters, and that's our next topic as well. We could just mosey on into that as well here, but I mean, let's bring it into that. So next topic is that essentially that Superman's Lex Luthor is down to 2, and I actually, in my inside sources, are saying it's 3. Somebody who was actually being looked at for Superman is Nicholas Hoult as possibly Lex Luthor, and then the brothers who come from who's the main bad in Dune? What's his name again?
He was the Baron Harkonnen.
Yes, Baron Harkonnen, Mr. Skarsgård, Bill, and the Succession guy. I don't
Alexander.
Alexander Tarzan, the
Northman.
The Northman, exactly. Yeah. You really can go up from this character, and really just saying the article says this is just down to those 3. I think all 3 are great options. I've never really seen Nicholas Hoult as a villain, but God, I mean, you're looking at it. You're looking at the biggest asshole in Succession in Alexander Skarsgård. I mean, out of the 2, who do you guys pick? Give me your choice.
Ooh,
and if it's Nicholas Hoult, give me Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah, I could see either. Nicholas Hoult was great in The Menu. I loved his character there. And then, Skarsgård is Mattson, everybody's lovable douchebag on that.
Yeah.
So
lovable. That's a
yep.
that's
it kind of depends on what kind of Lex Luthor you want. Like, do you want a scary Lex Luthor? Then you got to go Bill. But if you want like ripped, sexy, like super smart and super sexy, you got to go Alexander.
Right.
Yeah,
Bill,
I liked Jesse Eisenberg as the last Lex Luthor, right? He was the last.
Yeah, that was a wild card for sure.
Did you?
Yeah. You guys didn't like him?
I kind of hated him.
What did you hate?
It's not Lex Luthor. This guy's like, the Superman. I'm going to get him. I'm going to stab him. Oh, my gosh. And the world's going to crawl. Like being the fucking modern day, like, Nepo kid, to me, is not a good villain. I want the one from the TV shows, from somebody who actually was like,
I went calm, cool, and collected.
Gotcha,
right. Somebody who you could believe taking out Superman and or Batman. I mean, if you ask me, Lex Luthor, if you're going to create a new Justice League, needs to be the main front again. Hell, I think they almost just got to recreate everything Zack Snyder did. Just redo it, man. Because I think they had some good bones to it. And that could be controversial. I mean,
I think the money speaks for itself, too.
Yeah.
It wasn't there.
Wasn't there. And of course, don't actually copy and paste. But I just think in reality, Lex Luthor there's a reason why he's been the guy for years and years and years. And it seems like this was the one that really seemed to fuck up his character, whereas nobody else has really done it. I mean, whoever you think, I guess. But I don't know. There's a reason why the characters of DC are the best compared to Marvel. They would a lot of people would say, especially villains. Villains, DC has 10 legs over Marvel in the comics.
They got a great villain cast, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, Brad, give me your thoughts. I mean, what do you think? I mean, do you want Bill or do you want Alex? And what kind of I guess what kind of Lex Luthor are you looking for? Vu, same with you after that.
I think I go Alexander. Give me Lex Luthor, who's got a 6-pack, smart as hell, confident as hell, just like a true, conniving alpha, scary businessman that can take the fucking Superman, who is almost unstoppable in almost every sense. But this man is able to like combat him. And that's, I think, with the Jesse Eisenberg, it's like, I just don't see how this guy can go head to head with Cavill as Superman. It was tough to see.
Even with Kryptonite, I wouldn't have been able to like.
He just seemed whiny and
That's what I loved about him.
All right, then I want to hear who's your ideal, I guess, character when it comes to Lex Luthor.
I think it would be Skarsgård in this run, but I just want to take it back a little bit. So I know you mentioned that. Yeah, I know you mentioned that DC is legs above Marvel for villains, but I feel like we're getting the same villains recycled. The Snyderverse, Nolan's universe with the Joker. And now we have the Joker now. What other villains are there? Like, what is the Thanos of the DC universe?
Darkseid.
Okay.
Darkseid for sure. But here's the thing: before Thanos was such a god compared to the world. But I mean, I think when you look at DC, Loki was like an unexpected surprise of a good villain for the movies. I don't know how high up he is actually in the comics.
Not very.
I didn't want to cut you off. I mean, who else would you say when it comes to I mean, give me your I mean, give me your thoughts. You've read the comics. Who else are good / what makes there's a reason why Joker is 1A and Lex Luthor maybe 1B. You know what I mean? And maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe that's just my thoughts. What do you think, Brad?
I think it's interesting because the villain conversation with DC has to center around Batman villains, because those, let me just say them off the top of my head, and then everyone else is gonna be like, who else has villains? I mean, you have Joker, Catwoman, Penguin, Scarface, Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, Scarecrow, the Riddler. Like, I could go on and on and on and on, and then you're like, okay, who does Superman have? Like, okay, Lex Luthor, maybe Doomsday. I mean, Darkseid is more of a Justice League kind of as a group. But like, it's kind of like Spider-Man and Batman. Like, Marvel Spider-Man has like, the big villains that you know about, and Batman for DC has the big villains that you know about. And then the others, they have obviously, maybe one big one important one. So to Vu's point, I mean, it's kind of true that they kind of keep recycling, because when you don't have the ability to use just a Batman one, you're kind of scrambling for, who are you going to use that people will know about and care about.
I think also with that, Marvel uses D-list villains in movies. You use them and then you forget them. I think that's one of the biggest things about Marvel. And I even say what some people would say is one thing that's been good about these new Justice League movies, or just the entire Zack Snyder saga, was the villains were actually good in there. Whereas there's so many villains. Who was Doctor Strange's villain? Who was the first villain for Guardians of the Galaxy? You know what I mean? Like it becomes a thing where, like,
they turn D-list villains and they use them so well, I think, to just enhance the storyline. Yeah.
Yeah, I like your opinion on that. What do you think? What do you think so well about a lot of these? Name 5 villains besides Thanos in Marvel.
So I think, like, even starting in Iron Man 1, they use Jebediah, Tony Stark's counterpart at Stark Industries, just to enhance the storyline and show the production of the suits even.
I wouldn't put Jebediah up there with goddamn.
I'm just saying they use their D-list villains well to progress the stories.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. And I guess I would put this. How about this, Vu? I think you bring up a good point. It seems like it's rinse and repeat because DC, it seems like DC has not been able to find their footing. Marvel did the unthinkable. We talked about this last week. There's never been a franchise that's been able to put in 50, or God damn it, not 50 movies, but 20, well, close to maybe 20 years of an entire series that led up to a culmination point. So you had 20 years of literally only being able to use one character, maybe a few times, but then once you use it, they're done, and then you don't see them ever again. DC, because there has been no consistency, whereas Dark Knight series from 2005 to 2013, that they used their villains, and then from 2013 to now ended in 2023 for 10 years. I feel like we didn't get to see a lot of success with them, maybe, and there's not as many as movies. So since there's so few of these, that's what I mean is like there's so much untapped potential, I guess, maybe with them still at the same time, even though we have seen a lot of them. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say there? I don't know. I feel like I kind of lost my train of thought.
Oh yeah, it hasn't been successful. So you still got opportunity to, reuse, recycle, but in a new way, a way that audience cares about.
A lot more stories to tell.
We still haven't even seen like Sinestro from Green Lantern. That's Green Lantern's like main villain, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, we haven't seen the new version of Ra's al Ghul. Oh, Deathstroke. Bane has been the only version we've seen of Bane was great. I would love to see him in a new universe. It's been since 2012. I mean, it's been over 11 years at this point. 13 by the time Superman's out. Brainiac. You know what I mean? God, there are so many flipping villains that I'm like, this is crazy that we can't get anybody to seem to write a damn good movie.
I totally agree.
I'm getting pissed. Somebody take this thought and end it for me, and then we'll move on to the next one. But any
James Gunn is going to take it, and he will succeed. Because if he doesn't, then DC's done.
I mean, are they done though? It's
probably
like,
not, but I mean,
no, but like, God,
it's gonna look so bad.
Let's think about this. What happens if they fuck up again?
They try again in 5 years?
5-10 years, just restart it?
You just keep trying until you succeed?
Yeah. Do you just start using AI versions of the old actors? And
I don't want to live in that world because DC deserves better. Like, the content is there. The quality of the comic is there.
And that was my only thing about James Gunn, was that he is kind of an indie lover of just like superheroes. And do you guys know what I'm trying to say by that? Like he was brought in for the Guardians of the Galaxy just because he's kind of a dorky. He's got his own style, and man, I would not want to. I think the last problem was Zack Snyder he was pretty much the guy tasked with running the entire new universe together, and that's not what we wanted. Marvel had this director, and they all had ideas that seemed to flow together. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think James Gunn's just going to start it off. But, I mean, what do you think are some keys to success for DC? And then we can move on. Sorry, I just think this is such a great idea here. Vu, you started off. What do you think are some keys for DC to succeed in this new phase going on, just so we don't have a repeat?
Oh, man. I just think a good storyline, one that's able to arc in the rest of the DC universe and set this up well for future movies to come and future heroes and villains to come as well. Something to set the tone, like how Iron Man did for Marvel, essentially.
Yeah, Brad, what do you think?
Yeah, I think just like come at it with respect and come at it with like the top dogs, whoever these executives are. Like, I want their hands out of it. Because I feel like that's when you fail, is when you get these big wigs who can make the decisions even though they have no artistic ability or direction. Like, let James Gunn just like do what he truly thinks will succeed and give it a chance.
Yeah, pay the writers.
Hey,
give us great writing. Give us I want people like James Mangold, directing this. A
I
film
want
in the
creative people involved. I don't want business suits involved.
future. I want Denis Villeneuve.
Oh my gosh.
You know what
Oh,
I mean? You know what I mean? I want him doing a Superman movie in the future, maybe, or better yet, Green Lantern. Completely change the scope. You know what I mean? Like, take some risks. Not every movie has to be. That's one thing with Marvel is every movie's the same. It seems
Yeah.
like dun, 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 dun.
Take some risks.
Take some risk. Take a little bit more artistic, liberties with it. Maybe make one movie that's exciting. Maybe not made for children because it's a little like goes over their head, a little boring. Like, you know what I mean? Kind of like a Dune style superhero movie is something. Dune is essentially a superhero movie. You know what I mean?
I'd love to see the DC universe experiment with like a bunch of different genres.
Yeah.
oh,
Like I want a DC horror movie.
That the swamp
Swamp Thing?
Swamp Thing. That's what that's supposed to be.
Give me a musical.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I'm hearing also for
Oh
the
my
Joker.
God.
The Joker
Oh.
too.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Take some liberties. You know what? Bring back Christopher Nolan for a Superman movie.
Oh, that's
Don't-
what I'm thinking.
You know what I mean?
that would
Really.
be insane.
I see. If I had to make a prediction, guys, I wrote a prediction list. I think he will direct a Superman movie in the future.
Whew, I'm getting
You heard it here
chills.
I know. Think about
Breaking
that.
news,
Think
guys.
about that.
Hans
That's-
Zimmer composing it?
Oh, duh. Yeah.
Duh.
Duh. Yes, Hans Zimmer's produced. He's writing the score for it. Bring in some of the best writers. You know what I mean? Like, I want David Cronenberg coming in for some of these. You know what I mean? We want to put respect on some of these names, and of course, come with some new people as well. I think there's a lot of new directors who are truly. I mean, that's something Marvel really did well. You got to do the same thing. I think you got to get these. Give these guys the creative liberty they deserve. Give them the creative. Just let's truly this. If I were DC, there's no other way. This is it. You have to succeed.
You have to.
You have to. You can't lose to Marvel anymore. And I think that elevates Marvel as well. Because actually, I think Marvel's hoping this happens too. You know what I mean? When you're the top dog and you're doing everything, you don't know what's happening. I mean, Marvel had to compete at the beginning with The Dark Knight.
An insane
about that?
trilogy.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back to where it was.
Competition results in good quality.
Exactly. This will make Marvel better. I hope.
That's what I'm hoping. Man. Oh my God. All right. Well, hey, thank God we're took us 32 minutes to get to subject 3. But hey, that's why we're here, and I think this is a good conversation, guys. So I thought that was great. I think that God, every week we seem to add new layers to this whole DC. I think we're just pumped. So
Yeah.
all right. Next subject is, let me bring it up.
Da-da-da.
So Star Wars next movie, the Rey Saga, the new Rey Saga. So essentially it'll be chapters 10 through 12 will no longer be attached to the George Lucas trilogy or just George Lucas universe and world. I mean, of course there's going to be, nuances that things they might have to bring in. Will no longer be connected to it. And I'm also reading, I didn't put this in here, that this movie will be will be in the same realm of using things from the James Mangold Star Wars, the idea of the Force movie I was talking to you guys about last week, about how it's going to bring it back to essentially the beginning. It's going to be, it's like a biblical epic is how I described it. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
So no longer are we going to be getting it back to, Luke Skywalker's gone. All these people are gone. It's going to be essentially a new round for Star Wars, which I think hopefully is them being like new creative ideas. It's essentially what we're talking about with DC, how we want more just creativity, get out of the realm, things like that. New cool things.
Was that the expectation that Rey would get another trilogy? Be involved in another trilogy? I didn't.
You didn't know that? Did you not know that? Yeah, so the movies that were announced were a trilogy with Rey, a movie to finish off like the Mandalorian / all those characters together. That's gonna be a movie, the one movie to end that, and then the new James Mangold film, which is gonna be essentially the beginning of the New Republic / the beginning of the Jedi Order, or not the Jedi Order, but the beginning of the Force.
You know what I think would be cool is if they did what George did right away. He did episode 4. You know, that was the first movie, episode 4. They should
Yeah.
do that. They should do like another jump because I don't know. I'm just kind of tired. Like, we're still going on with Skywalker stuff. Like, I know
I
Rey,
know, man.
you know, Luke Skywalker's gone, but like, it's just like, come on, you're just stretching it out to take my money.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, it says right here, you know, what it says right here, I'm reading this, is that, you know, a continuation of her story was inevitable, albeit happening sooner than expected. A rebuilding of the Jedi Order again is the natural next step for both the character and the franchise. Was more important than anything is that Lucasfilm not lose sight of central tenets and themes of Star Wars. Lucas is the heart of the franchise and he always will be. The sequels were ironically derivative of the original films. You know what I mean? What we talked about. There's no real difference. Resulting in creators' criticism for not doing anything new. Lucasfilm now has a blank slate to do just that. And the next Star Wars movie can honor Lucas by moving on from his central storyline.
You can't say that and then have Rey be a trilogy.
I know what you mean. It's
like, is John Boyega going to be in it again?
Yeah, if he's in it, if there's a Force Ghost, I don't know. You know, I kind of like it. Yes, when I first heard that, I didn't like it. And here are the other ideas, Brad and Vu. I don't know if you guys heard this. They originally were trying to get Catherine Mirren. Do you guys know that actress?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Who's that?
A straight gilf. Straight gilf. Google her. She's in a lot of movies, but they wanted her to essentially be like Rey at like 90, 80, 70 years old. So they want to give it a bit of a different distance. I think the point of this and what they're trying to say is Disney wants it to be. I think Disney needs to be like, how can we make a movie that'll make $1 billion? They could do that by putting in the ChatGPT. Boom, they can make that artificial script, anything like that, and we're all going to complain and bitch. No, people aren't going to movie theaters anymore just for the name. And I guess we could say that, oh, Avatar. Everyone saw Avatar. You know, it was the same movie essentially. And what I'm trying to say,
it was aesthetically pleasing. It was groundbreaking in its visuals.
Yes, you're right.
It had something at least.
Yes, you're right. I apologize. I did that incorrectly. But what I mean, guys, is I think we're essentially what they're trying to say, and we can take it to the bank, is that we're done with the Luke Skywalker saga. We're done with what we saw when our parents were 20 years old and what we were 3 years old watching those old VHS tapes. You know what I mean? It's done, and I think. I'm just excited about what to see the future is. I mean, do you guys have any thoughts about this? You know, do you guys like the idea that they're going back to creating almost like kind of a new future? Like no more the old past. There's going to be connected movies, but it's going to be the original. Like it's going to be, of course, the same character because they got to put somebody out there that we all know. You could take a risk and try to do something new, but that's more of a Disney. They don't want to take that risk. So I think it's not the worst thing in the world. I know where you're coming from. But they're coming from new lore, it seems like. Rebuilding the Jedi Order is essentially like beginning the Jedi Order back in the day. So I don't know. What do you guys think about this?
My just quick thoughts, I don't know. I just feel like the more things get done with Star Wars, and call me an old head or someone, but like it just seems to lose its muster. I don't know.
Okay.
It's like it's diluting the coolness that it had.
I'd agree with that.
Now it's just a money-making property, which, again, Disney owns it, so I get it.
I like that point. Vu, keep going. Add to that, and I'm going to bring it back.
Yeah, I guess, where it differs from like comic books is that, there's no comic books to go off of. There's no scripts, no books or anything. They're fresh slate completely. They can do literally whatever they want. So that's exciting if the creativity is there and it gives us something new and interesting. But I wasn't the biggest fan of Rey in the last trilogy. So, were you guys at all?
Didn't blow me away.
Walker, I would say I was an all right fan.
Yeah. So hopefully the character improves, gives us more to digest, I guess.
I will say this. I remember leaving that second movie and being like, wow, this is great. I'm a fan of the second movie. I love the second movie. I thought Rian Johnson did a great job, even though he was hated because it was just he took a lot of risks, which me as a fan wanted. I want risks. Fuck what the people on Twitter are saying. Fuck what the people who are complaining about. Don't listen to the loud minority. I would say take the risk. Just put us on a. I think we all had our fun. Now take us on a new journey. Take us on a new route. I don't want ABC. I want ADCBWQ. If that makes sense to you guys.
Yep.
Yes.
Brad,
I totally agree.
you brought a good point. It's not cool anymore. Man, was
Yeah.
Star Wars cool, man.
Yep. Go off script, you know? Now's your time. There's nothing else to follow.
And Vu,
That's a good point.
you watched the Clone Wars, is that correct?
Yeah, I watched a lot of it, and
Was
I
there-
really
was there-
enjoyed it. So
What,
I know
what were some things
creativity's
about
there.
the Clone Wars that you liked? So let's think about this. Well, you know why did because there's a big following between the Clone Wars. Was it maybe the things that we didn't know about Star Wars? Was it maybe the adventures that weren't what we're used to, or what were some things about the Clone Wars and maybe why we like the Mandalorian that you would say is they could bring into this new series?
I think what made the Clone Wars so successful is that it was a kid's show, but they were able to take beloved characters from the original trilogy, or I guess 1, 2, and 3, and expand on those characters and give us like a behind the scenes look of why things happened the way they did between episodes 2 and 3. So it gave us more content and a better explanation behind what happened. And I think, I don't know how they can replicate that in the future, but those stories were great. I don't know. Did you guys watch that at all?
I never did.
I never did either. Vu, next question. Did they ever bring up any sort of about the lore, the Force, things like that? Did they ever do it? We got a touch of it in the second one where we went to go see Luke Skywalker, but I mean, was there anything about that in there?
Not that I remember at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think. Okay. Also, I did hear something about this that they might have, or not. I guess no, that was a different movie. I do have another question. I'm just blanking out right now. Brad, do you have anything to add while I think about this next question? I mean, what do you guys think about them? Have you guys heard of the New Republic or the Old Republic games? The Knights of the
Yeah, I
Old
watched
Republic?
my brother play them growing up.
Same. I used to watch all the YouTube. Some of the greatest storylines in Star Wars, I think, come from that. There's some amazing things you can come from with that.
Like the potential is there. I guess it's kind of like DC. Like take risks,
Yeah.
do something unique, do something fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think
We'll
what this
see.
summer is showing people is that mediocrity can't get you there anymore, unless you're a movie that has been released in 40 years, which would be the Super Mario Brothers. But half-baked movies that aren't going to bring in these people. I mean, Transformers, I think, has more legs than The Flash, and it was released a week before The Flash. You know what I mean?
Wild.
And it's because it's a decent movie. It's not like watching those old James Bay movies. You know what I mean? In The Flash, I think everything preceding it just really fucked it. No matter how good it is, because I actually really liked it. Vu really liked it. So, I think everyone knows it's the end of DC, and it's like, wow, what's going on? But Ezra, whatever. That's something that I don't know. It's hard to compare that. But if you look at movies,
but I like what you're saying though. That like mediocrity won't cut anymore. Like that's good.
Yeah.
As a viewer, we want that.
Yep.
if I had to make a prediction, if we get another, movie similar that's not a big difference from Avatar 2, people aren't going to go. I think Avatar 3 is going to be a flop. And you look at the people who are going to the box
that would be
office.
perfect.
Yeah.
It
And you
would
look at
show that
people
we
who are going
finally have power.
Yeah, people are going to. I mean, what are movies that have really kind of surprised people? I would say are like Creed had a really good, showing, considering where it was at, and still. And maybe we aren't away from the pandemic still when it comes to going back to movies like we used to think we thought it was. I mean, gosh, there may not be another $1 billion film outside of Super Mario Bros. The rest of the year if it's not Dune. You know what I mean?
Which I was looking it up. Do you know how much money Dune 1 made? Blew my mind.
It wasn't a lot. It was only like 400 million, right?
Yeah, 400 million.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe
geez.
it.
Yeah. And that was in the heart of pandemic.
That is true. And it did
I would
go
say
pretty.
that.
I think it went
It was
pretty quickly to HBO. Max.
Yeah, day and day release. So it was
Yeah.
released. I
That's
remember I
a good point.
watched it in IMAX, and then I on that later that night I watched it on the TV. My favorite scenes.
You spent 5 hours on Dune in one day. I love it.
Yeah, I did. Well, I fell asleep, so probably about an hour. Right when to get to the dinner. The dinner
Movies are
part.
fun.
Great. Movies are fun.
Yeah, call me crazy, but movies are fun. I wanted to bring that up at the beginning. Damn it, I fucked up. Vu, what are your thoughts, man? I mean, God dang it, I'm on a long tangent here, but what are your thoughts on the Star Wars? Just again, we can keep. Do you guys feel like we keep going with this, or do you guys have anything else to add to it? Essentially,
My last statement, probably, I just agree with Brad. It's gotten boring. We want the old stuff back, I guess.
I agree.
the old stuff in the sense of we want.
I'm an episode 1 through 3 guy, if that.
So, okay, that's a good thinking. You want the old stuff, and the problem with the new stuff is it was a copy and paste from the old stuff. So what you're trying to say is you want a new old stuff, aka a new old stuff.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Sorry to make that confusing.
Yeah, it's easy as that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's how we should be on Twitter. We were like, I want new old.
Yeah.
Not the old new.
That's my thing. The new old. That's what we're gonna say. We're gonna call it the new
old.
Yeah.
Put it on a t-shirt.
I want
love
new old Star Wars. Damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's great. Okay, cool. Well, hey, I think we got a little bit more time we can go to. I just looked at this thing. We actually have 2 hours now, so we can do whatever we want. So we definitely have enough time to move on to our last topic of the day. We don't have to go through it. Just guys, the Flash bombed. We're not surprised. DC's movie. What if you guys give me a quick rundown why you guys think it bombed, and we can move on to some better things.
I haven't seen it, but all I'll say is bad vibes going into it.
Why haven't you seen it? Why haven't you seen it? Because it was on your list.
It was on my list. Yeah,
I think that's very telling.
I just don't. It doesn't have the pull to bring me out to like really go out of my way.
Okay.
Like I plan on seeing it, but like from what I've been hearing and like the Ezra Miller bad vibes going before, like I don't know, just I didn't have like the whole shit. Like I need to fucking see this movie now. It was more like
if this
when
movie
I'm
had
free.
been released in 2008, would you have seen it? Considering that it's not part of a whole big universe, it's just the idea.
For sure, I love the Flash. The Flash to me is just cool. Like a guy runs super fast. I love that.
Yeah, who doesn't want to run fast?
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very good point. Vu, what are you thinking? What's your thoughts behind this as well? Why maybe they bombed?
Yeah, I think the whole Ezra Miller off-screen debacle and, social media didn't love that and kind of trashed this movie.
Fun fact, Vu had no idea about this whole whole Ezra Miller.
I thought he just got kicked out of a bar for being too drunk, and then everybody got mad. I did not realize everything.
Little to his surprise, Ezra Miller's grooming people.
Yeah, I literally called Kevin after the movie, and I was like, "Yeah, I thought it was really good," but Kev filled me in. So I was like, "Oh wait."
Oh shit.
Yeah, he's like, this Ezra guy I can invite over for a dinner. I'm like, all right. No, I'm kidding.
Maybe not. But yeah, with this whole Ezra Miller off-screen debacle, and then people obviously having a strong stance on that and taking to social media to kind of trash the movie, I think it's deterred a lot of people, and I think a lot of people may be just waiting to see it on Max when it comes out for free with their subscription. There's not that big of a rush or an urgency to get into the theaters for this one from a lot of people. I feel.
And I wonder with DC if there's just any hesitance to just wait till there's any word of mouth momentum, because they've just been hurt by DC for a couple movies now.
They do have a very bad rap, so that doesn't help either.
I would also add this. I think there were two things that are hurting. One, when you guys bring it back, I'll start with you guys bringing it back to word of mouth. There was no word of mouth after. Yeah, we got, there's an ending that's pretty cool, but I feel like there was another thing that went into it that I was going to put as my second point, is the idea that it was so overhyped, calling it one of the best DC movies, or one of the best comic book movies of all time. Calling it, I heard that and I go, okay, so if it's gonna be, and people were describing. Then I saw the reviews and they're describing it as very similar to No Way Home, and I'm thinking, well, are they gonna bring Christian Bale back? You know what I mean? Like, it set this expectation for me. Is when he didn't show up, I was a little disappointed, and that's on me. But also at the same time, you know what? Because of them, I think that's partially on them.
Mm-hmm. I bet you if they didn't announce Michael Keaton would be in it, like those kinds of like whoa moments, I bet you more people would have gone.
Yeah, I also think if he didn't choke bitch, and then he also didn't feel shit. I think there is he had to become like there had to be another factor. I think maybe there had to be a Christian Bale. There had to be a Henry Cavill, even though they were done. And they also said that this is supposed to be James Gunn, and I think James Gunn is just trying to save his ass because right now they're just waiting to get onto the new universe. James Gunn said this is supposed to reset the whole DC universe.
Yeah, which I did not feel at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah,
Brad, I won't ruin it for you. It doesn't feel like it doesn't. And there were some other scenes apparently that they had other shot scenes that they just didn't put in the movie that may have done a better job of doing that, because originally DC wanted to just be essentially redo the entire Snyderverse, but keep it in that universe. And they decided to go with this, and that's fine. I mean, of course, things change. Henry Cavill says he's back, and then he says he's gone. Things like that. I mean, I don't know. All I know is that it's there were some great things about it. Great movie still. I think I really liked it. Didn't live up to the expectation, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Any other thoughts, guys, before we move on?
Fingers crossed for James Gunn.
Yeah. I think we're ready.
I'm excited.
Ready, guys. Yeah, I am too. No, I really am. I mean, we've given 2 episodes of our 4 essentially. About this. We did have one more, and it was the Universal Studios. God, bring it back to Warner Brothers. So Universal Studios, Disney, Marvel, and Sony will be at Comic-Con. Can Warner Brothers completely win this year? Because they're the only ones there. I'm hearing that they're going to be giving out a huge slate. They're going to be giving out a lot of information. They're essentially going to win Comic-Con. Do you guys know the history of Comic-Con with like the film industry, essentially?
I do not. Yeah.
So if the Comic-Con is usually when they do a lot of their big announcements, being like, I think all the Avengers films were announced at Comic-Con. They have all the actors come out there. This one's gonna be a quick one just because we got shit to do. But really, what I'm just trying to say is that they could really right now Comic-Con it's maybe the number one movie announcing event of like I would say of the year.
Are you going this year?
Going this year.
Oh, baby.
Well, how do you feel? No one's gonna be there.
Well, 100,000 tickets were sold, and I think the actors are still going to be there. There's going to be it's different. It's going to be a different feel because I feel like it's just going to be Paramount and Warner Brothers. And anything comic related to those 2 entities are going to be a part of it. So that's what I'm saying. Warner Brothers really has a chance with this new DC to be like, scrub everything. Hey, here's the future. Here's what we've got going for us, guys. Here's a little bit more. We gave you guys tidbits before. How about a little bit more here and there? How about this new director coming in? Hey, if I were them, I'd say we're announcing Christopher Nolan's going to be directing a movie for us. James Mangold's going to be directing a movie. Denis Villeneuve. Freaking Steven Spielberg. I know he's not. But you know what I mean?
That would be insane.
Yeah.
This is where they got to show
this would be
like,
the time.
Yeah, we don't got much around us, guys. Hey, you guys want to see a quick reel on Superman, a quick 30-second teaser just for shits and gigs?
Why not? They have the opportunity to own Comic-Con. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They will they have a chance to really make a point where this is the first time I think in the last 20 years where there's been nobody there besides one group. And it's Warner Brothers, and they haven't backed out. And I bet if I were them, I'd really put a moment to stand up. I'd put a flag in the sand and really say, "Hey, we're DC, baby. Don't F with us." And also watch Aquaman in December.
Please, God.
Yeah. And also we got Blue Beetle coming out.
Oh,
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, hey, I think that's a great rundown. It took us 55 minutes to get through the news. Hey, we're now our next segment, what we call Le Critique Review from us. Is we can finally do a review of we got 5 quick reviews here. We got, and I think these are things we maybe should start doing episodes or quick things maybe just for these, because God, it took us 55 minutes just to get through this part. I don't know. How about this? Before we get into reviews, let's go through what we're watching right now. Vu, I'd love for you to run through what you're watching currently. I'm sure it's maybe changed from the list, but what's on the television Monday through Sunday?
Yeah, I've been watching BoJack Horseman. I know that show's probably ended for a little bit here now, but I think I watched the first 3 seasons as they came out, but kind of just stopped cold turkey. But I really do enjoy it, so that's probably my main thing. Manifest, just finished that. I don't know if anybody here watched.
I've never even heard of that.
It's a show. I think it was on NBC, and then it got canceled, and Netflix picked it up for its last season.
That's right.
Yep.
I have heard of this show. I heard it's not bad.
Oh, yeah. With the airplane.
Yep, the airplane. Flight 828 goes missing, and they're all pronounced dead for like 5 years, and then all of a sudden the plane reappears, and the crew and all the passengers haven't aged a day. So it's a pretty interesting. It's kind of like Lost. It's a little bit like
Lost. I was just gonna say.
Yeah, it's a worse version of Lost, I would say.
Dude, I'm hearing the Lost is amazing. I
you haven't really seen Lost?
I'd never. I mean, I was probably having sex and drinking and partying. So
lucky guy.
When I was like 10 years old. Yeah.
To be honest, I've only watched the first 2 seasons of Lost, though.
I think I've heard that.
Recommend it.
It's good though. I've heard that. Yep. I mean, of course, you should see it all, but I mean, I heard the last season it is not up to par. I don't think it's bad, but just not up to where it could be.
I believe writer's strike affected it as well.
Yeah, yep. That's what I heard. So,
yep. Okay.
Outside of that, a little bit of Sopranos.
Where you at?
I think I'm on season like 3B.
3 what?
3B, because they split, like how HBO has it is 3A and 3B.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I don't know why they did it that way, but I'm halfway through the show.
How long have you been watching Sopranos?
I started it last fall. So I took a long break, and then now I kind of want to just finish it out. So with that, Secret Invasion, and then just wrapped up The Bear, which I'm sure we'll talk about in our La Critique.
Le Bear. What a great show, guys. What a great show. Yeah. Brad, where you at, man? Tell me what you're doing.
All right. So, again, we'll be getting this in the Le Critique, but I just finished Succession. A lot of opinions about it. Great show. I'm starting to watch Ted Lasso, and yeah, I mean it's kind of a bore. I'm not gonna lie. It's
which season? Which season?
The last season of Ted Lasso.
Okay, good, because the first season I really liked.
And it's just, I don't know. I don't know if they're just kind of getting lazy or something. But it's my background show. You're cooking a meal, throw on Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Sad to say, but
have your iPad out.
Yeah. And then I'm finishing Superstore, which is just my classic workplace comedy that I love to watch. Makes me feel good. And then not a TV show, but I'm watching the Gold Cup as our U.S. national team men's soccer is playing.
Nice.
Love it. I love to hear that. Yeah, we watched it. It was 1-1 last Saturday. Just electric. For actually the first 87 minutes was god awful.
Terrible.
until the USA came back and kicked that sick goal. That was awesome.
What about you, Kevin? What are you watching?
All right, guys. I'm watching Sopranos. That's taking a lot of my time right now. Secret Invasion. But I'm not going to lie. Secret Invasion needs to really start captivating me. because I've got Sopranos, and that takes a lot of time, and I've got The Bear. The Bear is the easiest watch. I'm also watching The Bear. God, I'm all over the place, and I've got Always Sunny. But I'm telling you right now, 2 shows I might be taking off my list are Silo and Secret Invasion, unless they really don't start stepping it up.
Whoa! My buddy Justin has said Silo is an absolute A-tier show.
I know, and I'm only 2 episodes in.
Well,
I will say Rebecca Ferguson is really turning it around. My problem is that it seems to me it's a little cheesy, a little bit kind of like something that may have been on Sci-Fi Channel.
Okay, I can see that. Also, I think it's like based on a young teen dystopian book, so I could see it.
Yeah.
What is Silo?
I so you should check it out. It's gotten good reviews, and right now it's a lot of people are talking about it. It's just right now, I wonder if maybe I'm just in a sci-fi funk. But it's these people at the beginning of this episode. Essentially, these people are in this world, this like city, underground city that they call the Silo, and the outside world. We don't know why. We don't know why they're there. We don't know what's happened to the outside world. But the outside world essentially has become desolate and unlivable. And essentially, the entire show is just unraveling. I really think you should check it out. The trailer, you guys might like it.
It's gonna be my next show.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I just think Apple has put out such top of the top tier with Severance. If you ask me, I thought Severance when it came to like A+, A+. Home run. And I guess with Silo, I was expecting that. Maybe gets there. Maybe not there yet for me. So that's what I would say.
Love it.
If that makes sense. Yeah. Maybe write that down. Check it out. Cool. All right, guys. Well, hey, we got some movie reviews next, baby.
Let's get it. La critique.
You guys still feeling it, or do you guys want to go home? I don't know. Are you guys feeling tired?
No.
I don't know. Movies are fun to me, so.
Yeah. Call me crazy. Succession. Vu and I gave the most non-spoiler review. I don't even know if we even gave anything away, but Brad and Vu, I want you to hear you guys start off. Brad, you're brand new to finishing it, so you've got the bug or the juice still in your head. Give me your quick review and essentially start some topics off. We'll jump in and let's just give a quick spoiler. Not quick. You know what? Take however much time. This is one of the greatest shows ever. So take it away, buddy.
All right. So basically, it's hard if you're not watching it in the moment. It's very hard to avoid some degree of spoilers. So I knew that Tom Wambsgans is gonna, he's involved. Something with taking out all 3 kids. I knew that going in because people love to just. I got to be on Twitter, right? Like I got to be on Reddit, so I'm going to see it. Knowing that, still just like some really incredible episodes. Not surprising how it ends because all 3 children really are terrible people. But like some of the better episodes in season 4, like the episode where the dad died, wow, honestly, almost brought me to tears because performances were very good, very believable, and just like the grief in the moment. Really incredible. Incredible.
Did you keep going, but did you hear about that on Twitter? Was that spoiled for you at all?
No, I didn't know.
Oh God, it was everywhere. It was all over. It was the talk of the town, man. That's one of the best things about watching Succession this year for me was the constant week to week discussion. But keep going. Sorry, Daisy's being funny. I'll be right back, guys.
But yeah, overall, I mean, I've always been a big Tom Wambsgans and Greg fan. I just think that duo is just hilarious, and
that's the dynamic couple right there.
The fact that Greg just kept failing and just succeeding, I think, just made it even better. Like he was always playing both sides.
Yeah,
and Tom just loved him so much that he just kept him with him, and I just loved that.
Yeah, and he in true Greg fashion, he Gregged it at the end.
He Gregged it. He absolutely Gregged it.
Yeah, I think the scene where Tom says he has just enough capital and places the sticker on Greg's head is probably one of my favorite from that season.
But also the episode of the election, like, that kind of showed me. I don't know how true it is, but I can honestly see it being true that. Like media really have a lot of power and how they can like alter the mindset and the perception, the thinking of society. So I thought that was fucking fascinating that they were trying to play both sides and like they didn't give a shit who won the election, but they were they wanted the person that won to be on their side and like have them in their pocket. So I thought that was fascinating.
Exactly. Yeah.
Good show overall. fuck Roman. I really hated Roman the whole series. Thought he was a real fuck boy. So I'm glad he had his moment where everyone lost respect for him because he couldn't speak at his father's funeral. Kendall, I really, it's a real tragic individual. And I rooted for Kendall, even though he's a terrible person. But good show.
I think Kendall was definitely one of my favorite characters. I think he's a good guy deep down, though. I know you texted that, Brad.
He wants to be. I know he.
Yep.
Because you could see the hesitation when Mencken was going to win, the really conservative individual who has, some bad views towards people that Shiv was really mad about. But like Kendall didn't want him to win, but he just needed the deal to fall through, which is why he had to go with Mencken.
Yeah, I was pumped in that last episode when I was like, oh wow, Kendall could actually win this, and then
he cracked.
Shiv steps out of the room, and
I'm the eldest boy.
Yeah. Here's the thing, man. He did deserve it, I would say. If he didn't have his father's traits, and they all have the entire show is the idea of these kids, they want to be not their father, but their father is such an influential person. He's left when even though he's dead, you're still seeing his father in them, and maybe it was brought out more because they all wanted to lead, I would say.
Yeah.
Kendall, you guys, great point about Kendall. I think the idea of he didn't have so much of his father in him, he would have been a great leader.
Yeah.
But also his father's what fuels him. There's a lot of dark, and it's the light and the dark. It's the light side and the dark side, and you got to be able to equal, get the good out of them, but also sometimes you need some of that bad, not necessarily bad, but you got to, you know what I mean? And it's the character development with that show that makes it number one. I mean, gosh, that last episode, we saw the last moment of them truly being like forget the company, forget everything that's happened over the last years. Let's have fun again. You know what I mean? Before what it used to be. Let's be brothers and sisters again. And we've seen that in moments throughout the seasons, but there's always some related. No, we saw them at the drink.
That was beautiful.
I the exact same thing. We were just making that gross drink, hanging with your friends.
A meal fit for a king.
God, this show is. I'm watching Sopranos, and I'm saying this show blows the Sopranos out. If you ask me, it's
big opinion.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite shows I think I've ever seen. Vu, give me your review, man.
Yeah, I think from script down to the acting, down to how the show was shot, I would agree with you. This is probably one of my favorite shows that I've watched start to finish, where the ending was super fit for how the show was constructed. It wasn't a bad ending in my mind, even though I would have liked to see Kendall win it all. But yeah, I think Jeremy Strong did such a great job playing Kendall. The actors and actresses in this show did a fantastic job. Everything was done so well.
I can't imagine what it took out of some of these actors and actresses to do these roles. Like Kendall.
Yeah.
Wow. Like it just is such a tragic figure.
I think you almost had to low key live the essence of the characters even off screen, I feel like.
Yeah, Jesse Armstrong, I was watching a lot of videos, like interviews with him, or Jeremy Strong, I should say. The actor that played Kendall is like a method actor too. So he embodies the role completely. Like he wouldn't hang out with the castmates like Shiv or Roman outside of scenes because he wanted to portray that like when he was in a room with them for the show, he wanted to show like that's the first time that they've been together in a while.
Wow, so, I love that.
Yeah. I'm sure it takes a lot out of you.
And I feel like a lot of that show is improv. It's them essentially becoming their characters and just playing off of each other, feeding off of each other. I can't imagine that show being a big retake this scene and action. You know what I mean? Because then that would ruin the flow, the realism to it, I guess. I could be incorrect. It could be just part of the magic of Succession. But, I mean, that's something I always felt when watching.
No, I totally agree.
Yeah, great show. Great ending. I'm glad I finished it. It kind of
can't wait for us to come up with
leaving a hole in my life now.
Yeah. I can't wait. I feel like I can't wait to have a show or our next top 10 list be like our greatest TV shows we've watched. I mean, we still haven't even gone to our last one.
Would you guys put Succession on your top 10 all time?
Top 3.
Oh,
take it back. Give me 5. Give me top 5.
Nice.
Okay. I think that would be a great side episode too. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one of these days with the writer's strike, how much news is going to come out? You know what I mean?
That's
So we're going to
true.
have 4 episodes. Yeah, I think Succession just is the epitome of this modern day TV. I think it's today's version of what we would say Sopranos was, maybe Game of Thrones. I mean, it's better in the sense that it really ended. I mean, there's still a sour taste in a lot of these people's mouth. I mean, I think House of the Dragon really helped that with bringing people back, I think, to the Game of Thrones universe. But Succession, I mean, I don't want any spinoffs. I don't want anything else besides this. I want just Succession. Don't give me anything else. This is it. It was a masterpiece, and I hope we all can just appreciate what we were able to experience for the last, 5 years, I'd say. So,
Yep.
no, I agree. 10 out of 10 show for me. Not too many of that. Yeah. Next on the list of movie reviews, I want to hear Brad go through Asteroid City because I haven't seen it yet. I don't think Vu has either, and I'm very intrigued by it. Brad, are you okay to give us a quick rundown?
Of course. I'll give a no spoiler. Well, I mean, it's a Wes Anderson film. It's a simple review I got. It's a Wes Anderson film, so if you like that aesthetic, you kind of like that tone, you know, how he sets up his scenes, you're going to like Asteroid City. It's definitely, I'll give it a caveat. I'm not going to spoil this part, but it's like setting as a whole is very strange, kind of a little off-putting for me. It was just weird. The way that, you know, it's not just like a movie where like this is the movie. It's kind of a movie within a movie without saying too much.
I've heard this. I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So, you know, with that being said, like that was kind of weird for me. Like it kind of took me out of it a little bit because you're kind of like,
it seems like every
you break
scene
the
was
fourth
like
wall.
Extras. It seems like fourth wall / every scene they want to make it seem like this is a set. We're not actually in a city.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, it's got the typical Wes Anderson cast. You know, you've got like your Adrian Brody, your other names that I can't even think of, but it's good. If you like Wes Anderson,
Tom Hanks,
you like Tom Hanks,
Owen Wilson, is Owen Wilson back?
Owen Wilson's not in it, but Scarlett Johansson's in it.
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell, like it's a big cast, a lot of cool actors and actresses that you'll obviously recognize, especially in previous Wes Anderson films.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say go see it if you like that kind of vibe. Absolutely.
Who were some of your favorite actors in it?
I really like Scarlett Johansson. I think she really did really well. Tom Hanks was like a very minor character.
Really?
You don't see a whole lot of him. But I'm a big Jason Schwartzman fan, and he's in like every single Wes Anderson film.
Do you mean The Spot?
Yes, exactly. The Spot from Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Then I mean, you got Margot Robbie too, Adrian Brody.
Oh, is she in that movie?
Yeah, very briefly, but yeah.
Oh, cool, man! I didn't know that.
So yeah, it's got a big cast. So again, it's Wes Anderson, so you need to go in knowing what you're gonna get.
I feel like Wes Anderson films, you don't want to see it on a nice HD screen. You probably want to go rent it on VHS somehow, even though you can't. Like get it illegally on a VHS and put it
Watch it on an analog TV.
Yeah,
with the dials.
Yeah, I agree. I can't wait to be man in LA in a couple or next month. I'm pumped. Vu, did I tell you I was doing that?
What are you doing?
I'm going to be in LA. I'm seeing Oppenheimer opening night premiere at the TCL Chinese Theater, baby.
Oh, my God.
The 1944 Oscars. Right on Hollywood Drive in the Walk of Fame, baby.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm seeing that. And then we're going to try to sneak a Barbie weekend. We're going to go. I'm going to get a tour of Warner Brothers. Yeah, man. It's going to be.
We're going to have a lot of content.
Yeah.
If I'm not a director after that weekend, fucking shoot.
We're never gonna see Kevin again.
Yeah.
I'm an executive producer now.
We're gonna need some Filmaholics merch for you to rep out in LA, Kev.
Yeah. Should I start putting things on like walls, like check out Filmaholics?
Yes, we need stickers.
All right. I'll see how I can do that. That'd be kind of fun. Cool. Well, I'm glad. I'm looking forward to seeing Asteroid City. That's definitely on my list. Elemental. Brad and I saw that last night. I think I'll speak for myself, just because I'll give you guys a little bit of thinking time, but I really liked it. The love story I really liked. Now I will say this about Elemental in the beginning. I thought it was I didn't like how they got set up to seeing each other. But at the end of it, I was pretty captivated, and I ended up really enjoying myself and having a great time with it. I thought it was just a good love story and in classic Pixar. I don't think the reviews did a good job of portraying it at the beginning. So yeah, I just thought it was a great time, and it was a good movie. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was beautiful to watch, beautiful to be a part of. I mean, it's not the best. I'd probably put it in like 10, my 10th film out of all the Pixars, if that. I'd really think about it. If I had to go like 1 through 2, because it's been since Toy Story, so it's been at least 20 years now, at least close to it.
There's no way you're putting that at number 10. There's 10 better ones.
You're probably right. All right, okay, but it's just middle. It's middle. Yeah, it's not up there. You're right. 10 was being very nice, Brad. I think you and I are more the same. I just got distracted with a text. I have a wedding. I have a proposal I have to go to soon, for a friend. So keep going. Yeah, Brad, add to it. We might have to end this a little early because I probably should get going soon.
Yeah, we can finish it with this review, but ignoring the fact that the average age of the audience that Kevin and I were at was 5 years old.
Yep, that's true.
We were definitely on the older side of the audience, but still, overall, good movie. It's not a Pixar movie that's going to blow you away. That's for sure. But I thought it was a good Tuesday. It was a really cool love story, and it was an immigrant story, which I thought was really cool.
Yes,
and it was just about how different people at first, don't really jive well together in the community, but you come to an understanding eventually, and then there's love and chemistry. Get it? Because elementals. So, I thought the base was good. The story was good. Some scenes almost brought me to tears, I'll be honest.
I will say that too, yeah.
So it was good. I recommend it again. You're not going to be disappointed, but you just have to go in knowing that this isn't Toy Story.
Yeah. I'm excited to see it. I'll probably catch it on Disney Plus. Would it get released on there?
You're part of the problem.
Did we not have the conversation last week?
just like
God
that.
Damn it. Hey, why don't you round your kids up and get them to sit on the couch and watch?
I'm not as enticed to go see this in theaters, maybe, but definitely would watch it.
How is this? It's a good A-list movie. If Brad and I are paying for A-list, it's for free essentially. It's like, you know what? I got nothing to do tonight. I got a podcast to talk about. It's a good movie to see on A-list. I wouldn't pay $20 to see it.
And while we're on the topic of A-list, I just want to give a shout out to AMC Theaters for just doing such a great job of
shout out AMC.
They're not sponsoring us yet, but we're working on it.
Our people will be in contact with your people.
Yep.
Yeah, you can't see now that, but Vu's entire wall has been painted AMC's logo. He had to take it down. Big fans here of AMC. Vu.
Big AMC people over here.
Yeah, Vu. Why have you? And maybe I'll even put in the headline why you should sign up for AMC A-list. Vu, why haven't you signed up yet? $20 a month.
It's on my list to do. So
I think you should, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we're looking at the movies coming out this fall. Not as good as I'm glad Brad finally did sign up. I think he was even a little late to signing up. I would say I highly recommend it, man. It's a good time.
Yeah.
And Rachel knew
herself.
Yeah, I mean, if you see 2 movies a month, you pay for it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so might as well, because AMC sponsors us.
Yeah. Yep. Soon we'll be able to give them out for free. We'll have AMC tattooed right under our eye.
Our membership numbers.
Yeah. Heartbreak feels good in a place like this, right?
Yep.
Good job, guys. Well, hey, guys, I think this was a great episode. I think because I got to run, I feel bad. This is fun, though. It's always great to be able to chat. We got an hour 18 in, so that means we're going to be going live soon. We've got things coming up every episode. I feel like every episode there's always 1% better about things the way we – oh, excuse me, Jesus. Go about doing things. We got Instagram. We got Twitter now. Filmaholics Podcast, Filmaholics Entertainment. we're growing. We're now going to be, I think by the end of this night, unless it's my internet, I don't know. You know what? I'll do a quick check.
I do want to apologize to our loyal viewers about my connection issues.
To our entourage.
Yep, to our entourage. I'll get that fixed next time.
Once we get sponsored by Xfinity as well.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, we're almost there. But yeah, guys, I mean, as always, it's just a joy. We're on Spotify, baby. We're there. We did it.
We're official.
That's how you end an episode.
That's it. Let's go.
Check us out. Filmaholics Entertainment Podcast. All right. All right. Love you guys. Hey, everyone. Love all the fans. Enjoy your guys' night. And
Peace.
fucking always fat, baby. All right. See y'all.